And we've been telling you this morning about the man in custody after Secret Service spotted someone with an AR-style weapon yesterday on former President Donald Trump's golf course in Florida. Trump is safe and he's unharmed. But the attempt comes just 9 weeks after he was nearly killed by a gunman during a rally in Pennsylvania. Eric Miller is joining us now for more analysis. He's a former FBI supervisory special agent. Thank you so much for joining us. So as you know, this is an area where Donald Trump golfs quite regularly, and the Secret Service has received both praise and criticism. Praise for spotting him, but also criticism for allowing this suspect to get this close to the former president. From what you know, how would you characterize how well the Secret Service did here?
Well, Anne Marie, they acted quickly. The detail did their job. They had an advanced team of past, both behind and past the president. They advanced up a couple of holes. They were able to obviously identify the barrel of the gun sticking out of the fence, and they engaged the would-be shooter. Obviously, they should be going back. They will be going back and reassessing the overall security or the secure perimeter and looking at how they should expand that. You know, should they be looking at expanding the perimeter, obviously above and beyond the potential range of any high-power rifle? That's an ongoing assessment that they'll have to continue to work through.
So, you know, Donald Trump is not the current president, but he is a former president, and he's running for president again. As I understand it, you know, clearly since the last assassination attempt, there has been some enhanced Secret Service protection around him. But, you know, what are some of the things that the Secret Service has to consider when determining whether or not a public figure like Donald Trump should get, you know, sort of the highest level of protection or something in the middle?
Well, it's all based around threat intelligence. So threat intelligence is what really dictates and informs those details. So obviously, this is a very tumultuous time, and the threat picture, the threat landscape really has been at an all-time high, so much so since really the 9/11 era. So they take that into consideration, and that's what they use to really inform those protective detail measures that they put into place. That's always fluctuating. So the protective intelligence piece, the work that they do with the FBI and their other federal, state, and local partners is crucial to ensuring that no matter where the president goes, they know the most recent intelligence in that area that could be surrounding that particular venue, and that they address that and build their protective detail, their protective platform around that.
You just answered my question, because I thought, you know, with the Secret Service, it is a limited resource, but the partnership with local law enforcement, I guess, is a huge component of that allows them to be dynamic.
That's right. They can't do it themselves, and no one knows a particular domain or a particular locale better than the local police department. So where a lot of that threat intelligence comes from is from local, state, and also federal partners. The FBI, a member of the intelligence community, is very involved as a part of their mission in collecting intelligence, and that is shared to those local, state, and federal partners. And obviously, one of the main consumers of that intelligence is the Secret Service.
All right, Eric Miller, thank you very much.